So I wanted to show you just a little update for my archivization of my journal. So I'm taking the front and back covers off so far, and then I'm going to work on taking all of the pages off of this ring binder. And so in using the arc, I realized I can't. Okay, here is the cover that I took off, and it had these little things on it that were really cool to close it and tie it off, but I had to take those off because what happened when I put it into the arc system, it would not go into the arc system, and so it was too thick. The arc system, the puncher, and I don't have it right here, but I don't really need it to tell you what I'm talking about. It only takes 8 pages, and that's 8 thin sheets of paper, so it would be fine for construction paper, a couple of pieces. But something as thick as this real sturdy chipboard journal is not going to go through. So what ended up happening is I tried to punch hole and then put a slice, but then it just got it all crappy, and then the little rings wouldn't stay in really nice. It kept like smushing around and stuff. So I thought there had to be a better way to try to do it. So what I did is they had this really cool Tim Holtz Ideology paper, and it's really thick craft paper, but it has some really cool vintage looking decorations. So I picked the one that said "The World," and what I did was I laid out my journal cover, and so I laid it out on the square piece of cardstock. And the way I laid it out so that the world would be going across horizontally, but I had to have the edge, this edge, I wanted that to have an overhang so that when I put this on, it would go over, and then it would allow me, and what I did on this side, it allows me, see how it goes over, this piece is flipped over, so this actually is thinner than the edge of the chipboard, because I kind of sandwiched the chipboard in there, and so then I will put the markings of the arc on that. But I think what else I'm going to do is put another piece of paper on that so it looks a little bit more finished. So that's the front cover. So you see on the front cover, this will be where the arc side is. And then on the back one, it'll be opposite. But, so this will be the overhang side. If that makes any sense at all, it'll be sort of like lined up just like that with the world on top. And then this will be like that, but it'll be in such a way that it's even, and this will be an overhang that will fit into the arc. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll touch base with you after I have that done. And I think I probably will go ahead and start trimming all of these pages so there's not that little bit. I'm not sure, because I think if I do leave those holes, they're off, and it's going to make it weird, so I think I might just cut down if I'm not going to lose too much of my image. So that's what I'll be doing. Okay, I'll check back. Hey, so I hope this isn't a weird angle. So what I'm doing is, this is the reconstruction of my journal with the arc system. So I've got all the pages removed from the journal, and it used to be a spiral journal, so it has all of these holes. So what I'm doing is I'm using a Fisker's paper trimmer, and I'm just going to the absolute edge, so I'm not going to lose any paper, but I'm going to make sure that I don't have any hole. And then I'm going to go like just right through it. Now, most people would say, oh, why don't you measure that? You know what? I don't want to measure it. I mean, I could measure it and make them all the same, but I'm actually measuring it as I go because I have that guideline, and I'm just staying right on that side of the holes. So really, I mean, when you get right down to it, I did 3 of them. They're almost exactly the same. And if not, I can trim them up a little bit later. But basically what I want to do, is get rid of these holes because I'm going to be using the arc to create some more holes. And, you know, like I said, this is a hot mess and it may not work. And, you know, I might end up not being able to use the covers because they're the ones that seem to be the most problematic with this because they're so darn thick. So they wouldn't go through the arc, and they might be just a little bit thick for the little arc circles to hold, if you know what I mean, the arc circles. The arc circles being, okay, they'll go through and hold fine on the paper. But see, this is how I did it. So I had the journal chipboard, heavy chipboard, and I covered over it with the Tim Holtz paper on the front and the back. And I left a little margin over here of paper so that the actual arc could cut through here. And when I say the actual arc, I'm just reminding you it's this big honker thing. And what you do is you just fit your paper into these teeth in there. It's actually this direction. You just fit it right in here. Paper goes like this. Ta-da! And then you make sure that they're all even and the same, so you'll have the same number of holes that you do on each page. And then you just take this lever and just go down. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to cut through this paper yet. But it basically is you're going to just push down and it's going to cut through. Okay? So that's what the arc, that's what the arc is. So, and then you've got the little, these little guys, the customizable notebook system. These are the expansion discs. So those are the ones that go here. And it's so cool. And, you know, it's kind of staying like I want it so far. And I'm so excited. Now, I do have some more gluing down and taping down to do. But you know what? I like a nice vintagey, corrupted journal to work with. It's your very own. So, you know, you can, it's just like, you know, personalized when it's jumped up a little bit like that. And I mean, I don't want it to be dirty and crappy, but I want this was such a strong paper that it really doesn't want to adhese. And what I used to adhese the paper to this cardboard was the magic tape. It's like two-sided tape. I'll show you. I'll put a link below. I got it on eBay. The stuff will glue bumper to a car, basically. But again, this is pretty boardy, so I may have missed a couple spots. But what I can also do is use a little bit of glue, because basically the reason I wanted to use that And you could use red line tape as well. But the double-sided tape, what it does is it's not like glue. You're not going to have any of that bubbling or bulging or wrinkling as it dries. So you're just going to keep this nice smooth surface. So I can always go in and tack some of this down with a little glue or, yeah, probably glue. And I may even put an extra piece of paper over the top of that. So I'm going to continue cutting my paper, cutting them nice and square, cutting all the little edges off. Yay! I can't wait to have my art journal. Okay, coming up on the next video. So we're going to keep on keeping on. Isn't she pretty? It's kind of a collage-y. So yeah, I want to make sure I don't lose anything awesome on either side. Oh. Where the heck did I go? Oh, there we go. Just doesn't want to stay down. So yeah, I want to get to the very edge. I have to make sure it's lined up. I want to get to the very edge without actually losing any of my art. So that side, I didn't lose anything. That side, neither. And, oh, I love this one. I used some of that shimmery, I don't know, this is like one of those wilderness nymph type pictures. And it's amazing when you see some of your old pieces. You know, this was just like a maiden, a nature maiden, I guess. I don't know. Maybe if anybody knows who this is, I love it. She obviously is in touch with all the wildlife, birds, deer, little rabbits. There's, it looks like a peacock there. So beautiful. It's just like so goddess. I love it. This is just a mixture of art that I love, pictures that resonate with me through the years. Mandalas. I love artwork like this that's just colorful, and just uncontrived, just free flow art. It's not like so realistic that it's expressionistic, I guess. I love this beautiful Van Gogh. I love Van Gogh. He was such a tormented guy, it sounds like. Okay, and I mean, again, some of this art that I have here is in various stages of being complete, but that's okay, because sometimes the only thing that you can hope for is to put like a focal point and then maybe some paper. This is so far from being finished, but yet it still looks nice. Maybe it is finished. And you know, art, especially if it's in your journal, can be so expressionistic and can be whatever you want it to be. But it can also be very dynamic in the sense that I don't really want to lose that flower, but yet I do need to cut away. Okay. This one should be the Queen of Wands, I'm sure. What was I saying? I don't know. Just that, yeah, various stages of your art. Journals are meant to be, you know, practice, study, development. These are all things you can do with your journals. If you have an idea, it's in your head. But you know what? If you don't put it down on paper, if you're like me, it's going to be lost forever. Talk about vellum. I love vellum. I'm crazy over vellum. This was print on vellum. And so I just used whatever. Oh, what do you call those things? They're not grommets, they're eyelets. That one's coming out. I'll have to put it back. But I have been jerking on this when I was taking this journal apart. Yeah. So, and you know, if you make a mistake on it and you're not really happy with it, you can start all over. Or say like this is just a cutout from a magazine. I just love the space that's depicted in this picture. But it might not end up staying, but yet so far I love it. I'm going to leave it. But you know, I could use some paint and cover over part of it, or collage on top of it. It doesn't have to be your collage, your journal, your pieces. They don't have to be finished. They can sit there and wait on you. This, I think I got this journal in like 2009 or something. So I have been working in this journal on and off, more off than on lately, for that length of time. But, you know, there's no, and I've got so many other journals, and you get so much in your head that you want to accomplish. Sometimes you do need to focus, but these things aren't as serious. You can make them as serious as you want them, really. They don't have to be graded, but you know, they may end up being very useful art at some point, and you want to keep them, and you want to look back at them, because I can look back at things that I did a couple years back, and I'll think, wow, I didn't really like it at the time, or I got tired of it, or I got stuck, I got in a block, and then now I'm like, wow, I really like it. So I'm going to keep taking these off, and once I get it done, I'm going to put it into my journal binder and see how it goes, and I'll go from there. Okay, see you in a bit. Hey everybody, so here's the finished journal that I altered. I basically removed the spiral, what is this called? Binding? Yeah, spiral binding. And I changed it over to the ARC system. Thank you, Veronica Jude. This is amazing. You're a lifesaver. I took a journal that I sort of didn't do anything with it because it irritated me to open and close it and turn the pages, to one that I'm going to use all the time. And I'm actually going to use it as my tarot journal. And you know, the paper is by Tim Holtz, and this says The World on top, and it's beautiful. It has an atlas on it, and I feel like tarot is the window to the world, and it's a window to the soul as well. So I think it's really appropriate that I use that paper. And also I use this stuff. You probably want to know what it is. It's also a Tim Holtz product. It's so cool. It's tape, but it's look, it looks like movie reel. And so what I did is I reinforced the journal with the movie reel tape all the way around on the outside and the inside cover. I think it really looks awesome. And so now I have pages that turn. Yay! And then I'm actually planning on using this and placing some journal study stuff in here. Like for instance, this is the Tarot by Alexander Daniloff, and it's a 2012. I just took it off the internet and backed it with some cardstock. I'm just cutting them out and studying each card. You know, it's a different deck. It's in La Forza. Is that Italian? Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, I bet somebody out there knows. It is a foreign language deck, so I'm studying that. And so I also make these little library pockets, and then I put the Eileen's tape runner on the back, just kind of like so, and then just put that right into the journal, and then you can stick your study cards in there. This is La Papesa. This must be French. Yeah, maybe it is French, but I don't know. Ill kind of confused me a little bit. Ooh, look at this one. Wow. So I'm studying those cards, so they can just tuck away in there. And this little guy could tuck behind there for now. So yeah, there's so much opportunity for journaling and putting your cards. I like the idea of downloading from the internet or making copies of your cards to put in as a study guide and a comparison. I'm working with the Thelema deck by Renata Lechner right now. Actually, have it right here. Oh, this card deck is so exquisite. Seriously. The backs are amazing. Look at all those beautiful, just smoky universe, galaxy, constellations. And then these amazing images. That's the Three of Cups. It is computer Photoshop generated, but it's still amazing. I mean, I don't know why in this era that we can't accept photo journalism, photo artistic endeavors as art, because it is. It's creating. It's just a different media, and I love that Ace of Pentacles. So, but I digress. So what I'm sort of doing is just setting this up so that I can do a card a day, take it with me, and you know, I can work on the decks. I can work on a deck in its entirety and, you know, lay out the cards, make copies, download, put images that I like. Perhaps I can even make copies of the guidebook pages if there's something. This particular guidebook is pretty good, but you know, as far as these little white books go, they're fairly limited. But I could put some interesting, something new, which this does have something unique. I haven't seen it before, where they say, "Queen, I know my fire shines brighter than anything else, but please admire me from a distance." And that is the Queen of Wands. And you know what? That Queen of Wands is such a beautiful card. I mean, they really are all beautiful. The King of Wands, check him out. He's so gorgeous. And I mean, it's just, there she is. Look, I would have probably picked a different sunflower. That one looks sort of pop artish to me. It doesn't really go. I mean, you have this beautiful lady, beautiful dress, and everything's perfect, and then it's kind of a fakey looking sunflower. But anyway, so this deck lends itself to a lot of imagery, and it's very thought-provoking, and the guidebook's really cool. So I can lay the cards out, and I can make copies of my favorite ones if I'm studying all the pentacle suits, or I want to compare the different kings. I mean, there's so many ways that you can do journaling and studying your cards. I'm really loving this deck and working with it, and it has so much to offer. There's a lot of symbolism, and so I really want to study that. It's interesting to compare different decks, and it's also really educational and interesting to to look at the different suits in a deck, or just study the deck itself. Study the court cards, study the minors, study the majors. And just, a card a day, that's a good way to do it. So I've been checking out this deck today and seeing where I'd like to place some more of these little card holders. And if you'd like to know how to make these, there are several videos with similar items on YouTube to show you how to make these out of just cardstock. I could show you in another video if you're interested, but I just love how you can just put a couple of cards there and then go to your other pages and just work from there. So as I said before, this definitely looks like wands to me. So if I have this idea, this Queen of Wands, and I just want to put some wands cards out, and of course just get that hot, fiery feeling and study that. 10 of Wands. So there's the 7 of Wands. So this whole page just evokes a lot of symbolism with the smoke and the fire, and so I just sort of go through like that. And where is that beautiful Queen of Wands again? I've lost her once again. There's a 3 of Wands. Like in this particular deck, it's so apparent the wands really stand out. But then if you put all the swords together, they stand out too. So just kind of going through. There she is. So she's definitely the Queen of Wands. She's on her fur, and she's just very, very fiery to me. Anyway, and then on this page I have the smoke. Someone smoking a cigarette, and they took or a cigar, and they made photographs of the smoke billowing up. So that to me is definitely fire energy. So I can just I can meditate on these cards, all the different wands, and sort of get the idea of what the cards are trying to say. There's that Ace of Wands. I love that card. And, I can put them in an order so that I can understand it better and see it actually tell a story. So that's one really great benefit of having a journal that's this size. Now I could actually put them in order. I could make copies and then just tack them in and switch them around. That's another benefit of doing this arc system. I can actually say, okay, I'm done with this particular image, so I just want to take that out and I want to work with this. So and then these images, to me, there's green, there's calm. This could be, being that there's the sun, I could still work with some of the wands cards, but this images together with the green, I could almost say I could work with the Empress and just go from there, study that. Or I could work with water, some of the cups cards, and then go to the next page. Yeah, so this is definitely an emotional, colorful way to do it. So like the wands, they don't necessarily match up here to me. This is more of an emotional love, happiness, watery imagery here. So I would probably lay down my cups cards and go from there. 8 of Cups. So you can already tell the colors. 7 of Cups kind of just start blending in when you pick out your pages. 4 of Cups. You know, 4 of Cups. It's still disillusionment. It's sadness. It's not really looking at the positive side of things. So we could put that with the word believe. And automatically, that gives me an idea of how to interpret that card in a positive light. So you don't always want to look at the negative connotation of the cards. And then there's the 10 of Cups and the Knight of Cups. So the cups start looking a little bit more like they match this page. So anyway, this was going to be just kind of showing you my journal, and I got sort of on a tangent, but hey, it's all about the cards. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, again, thank you so much, Veronica, because again, I took a journal that I wasn't really using. I don't know what I was keeping it for, posterity's sake, I guess. And now I'm definitely getting my hands in there and working with it. And then I also don't feel like it's so, I guess the word would be fragile, because it's not. It's not falling apart. It's not ripping. The pages pretty much, for the most part, do go ahead and turn amazing. I mean, really, it's hard to believe that these little discs hold your pages like that. I'm not sure if you dropped it on the floor, what would happen, but hey. So this, I mean, this could be an air page, right? Or just, maybe you just want to keep this as a backdrop of, I don't know, the majors. It's going to have the Hermit here, and the Tower, the Wheel of Fortune. So it just gives some color and background so that you can study the cards, study what you're doing. Oh, I love that Empress. Oh, she's so beautiful. Look at that. If you just think this is a commercial type deck and you're like, oh, well, I don't think I need that one. There's a lot of other decks. Look at this box. Look at the box. Thelema. You know what? Everyone, get this deck. You will absolutely love it. Another thing about it is it shuffles so well. And I'm definitely going to edge it because it's got the beautiful backs. You don't have to trim anything, but the sides need a little bit. And I can't decide if I want to use black or that real pretty green. I think I'm going to go with the green. I can do the green. If I don't like it, I can switch it up to black. So anyway, yeah, this deck is so adorable. Look at that cute little lid. I would highly recommend that deck. And it's a good size. So if I wanted to, you know, put this back in here because I like these colors, and that's still in what I would call a nice hot fiery color, I could put the Strength card there. And then maybe I want to work with the 10 of Wands and the 8 of Wands. And you know, I'm sort of manifesting this idea. Here's that Queen of Wands again. And, you know, having sort of a picture here, some beautiful color here. This is very fiery melon color to me. And then, you know, you can sort of look at that and see how the 10 of Wands and the Strength card go together. And the 8 of Wands. And then, you know, a super quick change. Something fast, and then all of a sudden, you know, you've worked so hard and you're strong, and you this big change happens, and then there you are, the Queen of Wands. You're just magnificent. So this is some kinds of things that you can do, especially when you have some different layouts and some pictures that go along with your journal, that you can sort of hang some images and some ideas on. This is just a piece of vellum. This was an old, it came out of an old magazine. I did not do that printing. Somebody did, but that was awesome. I love it. And then I love that image too. So here's the back, and I did put all of that movie reel tape on. It sticks pretty well. You can always just smush it down if it starts unsticking. So there you go. If you have any questions, let me know. I really enjoyed this. Thank you again, Veronica. I'm going to make a couple of those record albums, because I've got some old albums, some old LPs that would make really great album covers. I think that's a fabulous idea. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.